stereotype. Now, what exactly is a stereotype? You know, people talk about and they throw the word stereotype around all the time. But what is a stereotype? Okay, does anyone know? Come on. Can anyone define stereotype? You've heard the word. What does it mean to you? Come on, come on.
Would you say one person's view of something?
One person's view of something. I like it. I like it. Can you add anything to it?
The most downloaded money transfer app of 2021.
Because there's an important piece missing. See, I have a view of something. Everyone has a view of something.
Isn't it like a common, like, prejudgment view of like a certain group or people?
So now you're bringing the word prejudgment. So what does that mean to you, Lynette?
Like a, I don't know, stereotype of certain drivers.
Go ahead. Tell me. What does that mean to you? I like
it. I guess it just means, well, to me, it just means, you know, an assumption that you've commonly heard, that you might have grown up with people telling you about, you know, certain, you know, things or a group of people, something like that.
So what you're saying is you haven't actually come across that group of people, let's say, since we're talking about people, but you have already heard enough to formulate an opinion about that group before you actually had any interaction with them.
Pretty much.
So when you show up and you meet somebody, you already have some ideas.
Yeah, all of that information that you were given previously when you meet that person or group, it's that, I guess, like, you know, that view is already there.
Okay. Well, you know what? That indeed is exactly what stereotype is. All we have to do now is define it in words, in the language of the book. And you know what? I'm going to tell you what that is first a few times, and then we can write it down. So a stereotype is a preconceived belief or opinion about anyone or anything. So let me say it again and I'll write it down. Stereotype is a preconceived belief or opinion about anyone or anything. A preconceived. What the heck is preconceived? So a young couple is getting married. I know, it's a foreign concept. A young couple is getting married. They have waited they have abstained from physical relations with one another, and both of them are virgins, and they're getting married. And the young lady, so excited to start a family, says, "My first child will be a boy." Well, what the heck does that mean? Now, I'm explaining to you what the word preconceived means. Both of them are virgins. They just got married. The minister, the priest, the rabbi, the imam said their blessings. They spit in a cup, whatever the ritual is. And, they say, "Congratulations, you're married." And she says, "Well, my first child will be a boy." Now that, my dear friends, clearly defines the word preconceived. They haven't copulated yet. They haven't sanctified the marriage yet with the blissful act of sexual relations. And she's already saying that she's having a boy. Okay? Nothing wrong with saying it. It's just preconceived. That's what the word preconceived means. Do we understand the word preconceived?
Would it be like an assumption?
Well, yes. Yes, it's a notion that you have before you have any facts whatsoever.
Yeah.
Okay?
So
So,
that person is assuming.
what was it?
So he's assuming.
It's assumption based on nothing. So it's
Oh.
a preconceived belief. It's a preconceived belief about anyone and anything. Now, it is really, really a terrible thing. It's a terrible thing, you know, these the stereotypes that people have. You know what? Unfortunately, in a lot of cases, they are true. But that stands in your way of having a relationship with people that you know nothing about. And maybe it'll be different for you. Okay? I'll give you an example. It's late at night. You're walking down the street. And there's a group of 8 to 10 men walking towards you wearing hooded sweatshirts. What do you do? Come on. It's late at night. You're walking alone, and towards you, you see a group of 8 to 10 men walking towards you with hooded sweatshirts. What do you do?
Well, it depends. Some people would just ignore it. Some people would assume they're up to something.
I'm not talking about other people. I'm talking about you.
Oh, okay.
I'm asking you as a group in particular. What do you do? It's late at night. You're walking down the street alone. You could be a man. You could be a woman.
Well,
I'll tell you what I'm doing.
I would
I'm
assume they're
crossing
up
the
to
damn
no good.
street.
I
I
would
am
assume
crossing the street.
good.
I am crossing the street.
Yes.
What do you do?
I would turn I would turn back because I would assume they're up to no good.
Anyone else?
Ignore
Well, if
them
you
and
were crossing the
walking.
street, I'd say hi to you. But if there was a group of 10 with hoodies on, I would
Yeah.
probably tense up and try to go the opposite way, like on the other side of the street.
Okay. You know what we call that? See that word over there? That word has gotten a bad rep. Now, so most of us are crossing the street, walk the other way, get really uncomfortable. Now, it turns out that they're a bunch of Boy Scouts looking to help people. Okay? But what do we know? We don't know much of anything. And we take appropriate action for that particular moment. So see, sometimes the word discrimination, you know, the word discrimination in certain contexts is bad. On the other hand, the word discrimination has nothing to do with bad. To discriminate means to discern between good and bad. Like, for example, somebody serves you a piece of fish, and you take a whiff of that particular dish, and you say, you know what? I have a very discriminating palate. I'm not eating that. Okay? That fish is not delish. That is discrimination. You have separated good from bad. Now, of course, you know, people discriminate, uh, about people, about this, about that. That, of course, is incorrect. Okay? But stereotype in this particular case is a preconceived belief. And preconceived means that you basing your opinion of someone or something based on information that didn't come from you. It came from someone else. Now, if I didn't know anything about people wearing hoodies, 8 to 10 men wearing hoodies, and I come from the moon, I'm an alien, why should I feel uncomfortable? I only know this information if I live here. And there's all sorts of information floating about men wearing hoodies. Okay? So if I don't know, I don't have that issue. It could be good for me. It could be bad for me. Those folks could have been, I don't know, gangbangers. The other ones could be Boy Scouts. Okay, well, I don't know that. So in this particular case, it could be harmful. It could be not harmful. But in the conditions, of course, I'm using extreme cases. But in our interpersonal relationships and our professional relationships, stereotypes don't do well by us. And it's easy to say, well, you know what? Let's work through some scenarios. Now, listen, I have been stereotyped forever. Okay? Many people sitting in this class have also always been stereotyped. So let's work through a few stereotypes. Okay? And please, 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 don't feel bad or embarrassed to say what you feel. Okay? I certainly won't feel bad. I'm going to put a couple of words on the board. And you tell me what is a stereotype that comes to mind. Okay? Without thinking too much. What comes to mind first? What comes to mind first? Quick.
Jewish.
What does it mean? What's the first thing that pops into your mind?
Wealthy.
Excellent. Anybody else?
Kosher.
Huh?
Kosher.
Cute. Okay. I've heard others. How about this?
Yep.
What about Irish? Come on.
Drunks.
Thank you. There we go. I don't need to put any more in there. You can put anything in there. You can put a Chinese woman. First thing comes to mind, bad driver. Okay? Could be true, could be not true. You could have a Daytona 500 winner, could be a Chinese woman. But these are all stereotypes. Okay? Whatever the case may be. Okay? So, there you go.